Punjabi Gopi Chandava Yatoranandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Jai Yamunatira Jai Jai Radha Madhava Punjabi Jai Punjabi Hari Punjabi Hari Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Bhavati Mai Subhadra Jaya Srinataji Jaya Bhavagopal Jaya Srinataji Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Gaurani Jaya Jaya Gaurani Jaya Jaya Gaurani Jaya Jaya Gaurani Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jai Jai Gurudev 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 Jai Jai Gurudev Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Mahastotra Satyashishi Maharaj Divine Grace, founder of ISKCON, Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Granthara Shrimadbhagavatam Ki, Srimad Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki, their most merciful Lordship Shri Radhakunda Bihari Ki, Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Mai Subhadra Ki, Shri Nathaji Shri Balagopal Ki, Shri Gauritai Ki. Yataya Go Brahman. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the Lord, the Spirit of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. We're reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 48. Tad Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Dodaya Mudiraya Nasta Prayashi Padreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naistiki. Reading from Canto 1, Shrimadbhagavatam, Chapter 13, entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home, Text 48. Tad idam Bhagavan Rajan. Tad idam Bhagavan Rajan. Eka Atmanmanam Svadrik. Eka Atmatmanam Svadrik. Antaro Nantaro Bhati. Antaro Nantaro Bhati. Vasya Tam Mayo Yonudra. Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan. Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan. Ekatmatmanam Swadrik. Ekatmatmanam Swadrik. Antaro Nantaro Bhati. Antaro Nantaro Bhati. Pasyatam Maya Yorudha. Pasyatam Maya Yorudha. Please chant.
Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan.
Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan.
Eka Atmatmanam Svadrik.
Eka Atmatmanam Svadrik.
Nantaro Nantaro Bhati.
Antaro Nantaro Bhati.
Pasyatam Mayayorudha.
Pasyatam Maya Yorudha.
Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan.
Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan. Eka Atmatmanam Svadrik.
Antaro Nantaro Bhati.
Antaro Nantaro Bhati. Pasyatam Maya Yorudha. Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan. Eka Atmatmanam Svadrik. Antaro Nantaro Bhati. Pasyatam Maya Yorudha. Therefore, idam, this manifestation, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Rajan, O King, Eka, one without a second, Atma, the soul, I'm sorry, the super soul, yeah, the super soul. Atmanam, by his energies. Svadrik, qualitatively like him. Antara, without. Antara, within and by himself. Bhati, so manifest. Pasya, look. Tam, unto him only. Maya, by manifestations of different energies. Urudha, appears to be many. Tadidam Bhagavan Rajan Ekatmatmanam Svadrik. Antaro Nantaro Bhati Pasyatam Maya Yorudha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, O King, you should look to the Supreme Lord only, who is one without a second, and who manifests himself by different energies, and is both within and without. Please repeat. Therefore, O King, you should look to the Supreme Lord only, who is one without a second, and who manifests himself by different energies, and is both within
and is both within
and without.
and without.
Therefore, O king, you should look to the Supreme Lord only, who is one without a second, and who manifests himself by different energies, and is both within and without. Purport. The Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, is one without a second, but he manifests himself by different energies, because he is by nature blissful. The living beings are also manifestations of his marginal energy, qualitatively one with the Lord, and there are innumerable living beings both within and without the external and internal energies of the Lord. Since the spiritual world is a manifestation of the Lord's internal energy, the living beings within that internal potency are qualitatively one with the Lord without contamination from the external potency. Although qualitatively one with the Lord, the living being, due to contamination of the material world, is pervertedly manifested. Therefore, he experiences so-called happiness and distress in the material world. Such experiences are all ephemeral and do not affect the spirit soul. The perception of such ephemeral happiness and distress is due only to the forgetfulness of his qualities, which are equal to the Lord's. There is, however, a regular current from the Lord himself, from within and without, by which to rectify the fallen condition of the living being. From within, he corrects the desiring living beings as localized paramatma. And from without, he corrects by his manifestations, the spiritual master and the revealed scriptures. One should look unto the Lord, should not be disturbed by the so-called manifestations of happiness or distress, but he should try to cooperate with the Lord in his outward activities for correcting the fallen soul. By his order only, one should become a spiritual master and cooperate with the Lord. One should not become a spiritual master for one's personal benefit, for some material gain, or as an avenue of business or occupation for earning livelihood. Bona fide spiritual masters who look unto the Supreme Lord to cooperate with him are actually qualitatively one with the Lord, and the forgetful ones are perverted reflections only. Yudhisthira Maharaj is advised by Narad, therefore, not to be disturbed by the affairs of so-called happiness and distress, but to look only unto the Lord and to execute the mission for which the Lord has descended. That was his prime duty. Om Ajnanatamrandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshushun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srila Prabhupada making a point here, distinguishing between the knowledge gained from the spiritual master versus the knowledge gained for an academic purpose of developing some talent in the world and the material application of our bodies' purposes. I was realizing this morning, because we talk so much about Gyan and Vigyan. Jai 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 Gannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Jai. So, ultimately, Bhagavatam is Vigyan. Bhagavatam is Gyan. But it is given by the one who is establishing what Gyan is, you could say. And he is himself manifesting as the incarnation of Bhakti, also Vedavyas, in his writing and giving to humankind this transcendental literature that will liberate ultimately the entire universe eventually. But Vigyan, you see someone on the altar making an offering. That's Vigyan, applied knowledge. They are now engaging their bodies in the activity. You see someone mopping the floor. That's Vigyan. They're applying to their bodies activities that they have been given to do in the service that is directly related to presenting the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in Krishna consciousness, all these services are for the same purpose. So we're all one body in that regard. It's like this is bringing out here as well. And Narad is pointing out here too that we shouldn't care so much about external circumstances. That the internal energy, he's distinguishing between the internal energy and the external energy. So we are engaging the external energy by engaging it with the empowerment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are allowing it to be used in the service of the Supreme Lord. Now it becomes also part of the service, just like I was saying. So you take something that came from the body of a tree, use it as a cup maybe, then that tree, it's the benefit having served a human being. If it's used on the altar, then it's directly used in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are levels of advancement that one gains by entrance to the different various relationships souls share with Krishna throughout the universe. Everybody's got a relationship with Krishna, and some are unaware. Most are unaware. Otherwise they would be here. So Narad Muni is giving us a way of thinking that he has developed in his eternal life. We're getting the words from one who has been living a long life. We don't know how old Narad Muni has been around. He's the son of Brahma. Came out of Brahma's body. How long ago was that? And so we have the very good fortune of being able to take his advice when he tells us all these external circumstances that we see around us, that we put so much value in. We shouldn't put as much value in as that value we put to that internal energy of Krishna. We see the only way we are going to bring out that manifestation is by the repeated chanting of Krishna's names. This is what's developing the consciousness we need, purifying the mind of everything else, and then by the experience then that we have, the freedom that it produces from being free from all other thoughts that trouble the mind, from all other anxieties that the mind is filled with through the day as we occupy ourselves with activities involving the external energy. And by our very involvement with the external energy, we're going to be pushed into situations of pain and suffering, anxieties, and then what to speak. If we develop relationships with one another based on anything else other than that love that Krishna is within the soul, and that soul's service to Krishna, then we're going to create attachments that create suffering also. See, without that knowing where the soul is going, but you know where devotees are going. They're continuing what they're doing. So this is what all instruction is. In order to continue after this life, we continue during this life, not letting anything stop us. Sure. And it is a mentality, it is a consciousness, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of living that we develop that at first seems like it has to be forced. But by applied, again, day after day after day after day, it becomes life. Just the way we live. So, just like going to a foreign country, when you first get there, you don't understand a word that's being said. But as you're exposed to the familiar, you become familiar with the People's Association, you start to learn the language, then you feel comfortable. It's the same thing with Krishna's cities that we're being offered the opportunity to enter into. The most glorious of all, the topmost of all being Krishna Loka. And see, just having the knowledge that such a place exists, this is something we can look at as a very precious gift Krishna is giving us, to know that these areas are able to be experienced now by the mind. There's a book Srila Prabhupada wrote, I don't know if any of you have read it, called Easy Journey to Other Planets. Yeah. I broadcast that on the radio many years ago, back in the 80s. But see, the perspective I had then of what Gayatri is, and what perspective I realize now by applying it all these years, gives me a totally different viewpoint of what Srila Prabhupada is describing. Now I want to go back and read that book again. I'm going to have to look in the library here if I've got that copy. Easy Journey to Other Planets. See, it's a consciousness we develop. And then Gayatri, by being trained in the continual chanting of Gayatri, conditions the mind to see things more perfectly as it is in our relationship to this external energy that all the universe is. And so we don't see anything in this world. Or chanting Gayatri, you only keep your eyes half open in the form of Yoga Nidra. Your eyes are half open, half closed, but closed so much that the outer circumstances are not visible. And then the inner creations of that function we use the mind to create is now transformed into that which is called meditation. You conceive in your mind that you've been told exists, and by the mind's ability to conceive, then, by doing that every day, you get a more perfect idea and realization and understanding of why this is being given. Because it is a great lift up from the consciousness that we're normally accustomed to while we are involving ourselves, even in bhakti, even in the activities we're engaging here. There is no possibility of while you're chanting Gayatri that the Gayatri itself is somehow going to cause you some difficulty. It's a stepping stone, and it's a relationship that's developed with Krishna that there is no other means being given the same way this is. It develops respect for Krishna and the position he has taken in all these forms, that we can gain darshan simply by the meditation of seed. The mantra, the Maha Mantra, it's a meditation, it's a prayer, it's a sound vibration that gives freedom and liberation to the soul. And the one who hears the sound vibration, that brings realization more so of what it is, what we are, knowing what the self is. So, in doing that, the mind then, using its ability to create, is actually one of the greatest purposes the mind has here in the form we have. And that what we're creating is that more perfect communication with seeing Krishna in various aspects he is playing. And as he's describing in Bhagavad Gita, for us to put him in the place, he's talking about controlling the mind. And with whatever is troubling us in our minds that we may fear, we should put him there and realize that Krishna, because we're now serving his purpose, we don't have to fear anything anymore, because his purpose is all-powerful. He is all-powerful, the all-powerful person. And as Srila Prabhupada specifically points out here, the one and only, the one and only. Even though he has many, many, many manifestations, each for a specific purpose. I wanted to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, but I didn't look yesterday, having a problem with my body I'm trying to take care of. Let's see if this is marked at the place. There is a place, I believe, that records the first time Lord Chaitanya gave the Maha Mantra. And I was wanting to look that up. These are the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And here we see Krishna's own statements about why he wants to take and manifest himself in the form of Sri Chaitanya. Lord Krishna enjoys, this is from Adi Leela, chapter 3, verse 14, and I'm just going to read the English. I should nevertheless recite the invocation. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes, and then he disappears. After disappearing, however, he thinks thus: for a long time I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. Everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Vrajabhumi. Knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration. But devotion, made feeble by such reverence, does not attract me. By performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and attain the 4 kinds of liberation. These liberations are Sharshti, achieving opulences equal to those of the Lord. Svarupya, having a form the same as the Lord's. Samipya, living as a personal associate of the Lord. And Salokya, living on a Vaikuntha planet. Devotees never accept Sayujya, however, since that is oneness with Brahman. Brahman. That's what Om is. Om is the Brahman Jyoti. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nam Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. Now, this is Krishna himself speaking his own thoughts. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. I shall accept the role of a devotee, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout the Gita and Bhagavatam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. If I did not show the proper principles of religion, all these worlds would fall into ruin. I would be the cause of unwanted population and would spoil all these living beings. Whatever actions a great man performs, common people follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. My plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age. No one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Braja. There may be many all auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but who, other than Lord Sri Krishna, can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls? Therefore, in the company of my devotees, I shall appear on earth and perform various colorful pastimes. Thinking thus, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself, descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Kali has already started now. So that means Krishna's leaving began Kali. Yeah. I was wondering whether we should say that the Sankirtan movement being the beginning would be Lord Chaitanya's appearance, beginning the Golden Age, which is removed from the rest because it's not a part of the rest of the seasons. It is itself transcendental, a transcendental time given as Krishna is revealing in his own mind. The superiority of this is that he's giving in this chanting, and how much greater it is than anything he has given in any other incarnation. Thinking thus, the personality descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Thus the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadvip. Have you guys been to Navadvip? AJ, you been to Navadvip? There's 9 islands, and you can take pilgrimage. Last time I went in 13, I went with Deva Madhava and Siddhari and several other devotees. And you go each day, I think it's about a 2-week. Each day you go to a different island, you circumambulate the island, just an incredible experience. And they have different temples on each and every one of them. Thus the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadvip. He has the shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and the loud voice of a lion. May that lion be seated in the core of the heart of every living being. See, this is subtly revealing what it is to, when a devotee becomes pure, Lord Chaitanya resides in his heart. Thus, with his resounding roar, may he drive away one's elephant vices. In his early pastimes, he's known as Vishwambar because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. The verbal root Dubrin, which is the root of the word Vishwambar, indicates nourishing and maintaining. He, Lord Chaitanya, nourishes and maintains the three worlds by distributing love of God. In his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Sri Krishna. Knowing him, Lord Chaitanya, to be the incarnation for Kali Yuga, Gargamuni, during the naming ceremony of Krishna, predicted his appearance. This boy, Krishna, has three other colors: white, red, and yellow, as he appears in different ages. Now he has appeared in a transcendental blackish color. White, red, and yellow, these are the three bodily lusters that the Lord, the husband of the goddess of fortune, assumes in the ages of Satya, Treta, and Kali, respectively. Now, in Dwarpa Yuga, the Lord had descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements in the Puranas and other Vedic literatures with reference to the context. In Dwarpa Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow, he holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with the Kaustava jewel and marks of Srivats. This is how his symptoms are described. The religious practice for the age of Kali is to broadcast the glories of the holy name. Only for this purpose has the Lord, in a yellow color, descended as Lord Chaitanya. He is the avatar for the golden age. The luster of his expansive body resembles molten gold. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thundering of newly assembled clouds. One who measures 4 cubits in height and in breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality. Such a person is called Naigroda Parimandala, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has the body of Anyaya Groda Parimandala. His arms are long enough to reach his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like the sesame flower, and his face is as beautiful as the moon. He's peaceful, self-controlled, and fully devoted to the transcendental service of Lord Sri Krishna. He's affectionate towards his devotees. He's gentle, and he's equally disposed toward all living beings. He's decorated with sandalwood, bangles, and armlets, and anointed with pulp of sandalwood. He especially wears these decorations to dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Recording all these qualities of Lord Chaitanya, the sage Vaishampayan included his name in the Vishnu Sahasranam. Pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have 2 divisions: the early pastimes and the latter pastimes, Adi Leela and Shesha Leela. He has 4 names in each of these 2 Leelas. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body, smeared with the pulp of sandalwood, seems like molten gold. In his latter pastimes, he accepts the sannyas order, and he is equipped. He is equipoised and peaceful. He is the highest abode of peace and devotion, for he silences the impersonalist non-devotees. In Shrimadbhagavatam, it is repeatedly and clearly said that the essence of religion in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. O King, in this way people in Dwapara Yuga worship the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga, they also worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by regulations of the revealed scriptures. Kindly now hear of that from me. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, confidential companions.
Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishna.
Say that again.
Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishna. Is that the shloka?
Yes.
Bhagavatam shloka.
John. My dear brothers, please hear all these glories of Lord Chaitanya. This verse clearly summarizes his activities and characteristics. The two syllables Krishna are always in his mouth, or he constantly describes Krishna with great pleasure. These are two meanings of the word Krishna Varna. Indeed, nothing else but Krishna issues from his mouth. If someone tries to describe him as being of blackish complexion, the next adjective, Tvisha Akrishna, immediately restricts him. His complexion is certainly not blackish. Indeed, his not being blackish indicates that his complexion is yellow. By performing the sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name, learned scholars in the age of Kali worship Lord Krishna, who is now non-blackish because of the great upsurge of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. He is the only worshipable deity for the Paramahamsas who have attained the highest stage of the fourth order, sannyas. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya, show us his great causeless mercy. See also here, this quality of changing color is being described here, that he is revealing in the material world, but that color is also transcendentally experienced through association with all those who are in the spiritual world, and they respond as well with their bodies changing color. So their bodies are responding to Krishna's association. Much like we have what we call chameleons here. You put them in a very brown environment, they'll turn brown. Put them in a very green environment, they turn green. So this is a quality the soul is revealing of itself for its own protection. But it is a perverted reflection of what actually is going on in the spiritual world. And this changing of colors is another characteristic the soul reveals in the spiritual world in its relationship with Krishna. So that we have blushing here, which sometimes comes for various reasons. It can be out of anger, irateness, could be out of shyness, could be out of shameness. So many reasons their face turns red. In the spiritual world, all the colors that are revealed are according to rasa that they have developed with Krishna. In this world, there are what is called rasa bhasa. It's like you don't crack jokes when you go to a funeral. That is brasa basa. That's one of the most obvious I can make comparison to. But see, all of these personal relationships that we are having with one another are described very thoroughly. Well, maybe I shouldn't say very thoroughly, quite thoroughly nevertheless, in that glorious teaching by, I believe it's Srila Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion, which is also being spoken of here, that Krishna has inspired his devotee to write this nectar of devotion, which in effect, Lord Chaitanya's life can be described as, and is being described as here, as nectar of devotion. So, his life produced a nectar that Srimati Radharani wanted Krishna to taste. And so by stirring the nectar of devotion, there was a stirring of the Amrita that was churned by the causal ocean at the beginning of the universe. But now this churning of devotion that Srimati Radharani is doing in Lord Chaitanya's heart, she is churning a nectar that's going to free the whole universe there by the giving of these holy names. And that's the real nectar. That calling out to Krishna with a prayer of surrender, please engage me in your loving devotional service. That you describe, Krishna, that you are pleased with those that offer to you fruit, water, a leaf, vegetables, things to eat, that you will take favorably, a glance upon favorably. And in this way, every day, 3 times a day, however many times devotees are honoring prasadam, they can be having deep, really meaningful relationship with the one they prepare the food for. Krishna's glance upon it and transforming it into a spiritual force is his appreciation for the preparation the devotee has made for him. So Krishna, when he shows appreciation, it is beyond our ability to comprehend the benefit what the soul is deriving from service to the Supreme Person. We have limited abilities to comprehend the unlimited amount within Krishna's mind and heart. So when we are reading even Krishna's thoughts and minds about saving souls, we might think of it as a localized area that he came and manifested in, but no, he's going to free the whole universe. Lord Chaitanya is going to free the entire universe. This holy name, this chanting of the holy name. We have evidence that his activities were being watched by aliens from other planets, being viewed in their flying machines, it says. Now that took place 540 years ago. We have evidence as well, if the accounts of God are true, that those flying machines were around 5,000 years ago when Krishna was taking part in his pastime. So what the understanding I receive is that in this golden age, everything is going to be restored that has been lost by mankind in this distribution of knowledge of God. These abilities we're talking about here they will be thought of as normal. Children will be born with the perfection of the cities. Nobody will need to desire it. So if everybody has, it's not something somebody desires. No, we already have, everybody has. And that's the nature of self-realization. That's what it will bring us to eventually, to know the perfected. When I was a boy, 60 years ago, for young people, they had a TV series called Superman. And he was able to leap tall buildings. He could leap over the Empire Building. He could withstand onslaught of bullets. Through all these qualities, he could fly faster than a speeding bullet, it said, more powerful than a locomotive. These are all descriptions of the soul. See, even in a man's imagination, though, there are imperfections. But revealing the imperfections also of humanity, he put into this particular actor the weakness of kryptonite that evidently came from the planet he was from. And when this kryptonite touched him, then he became like a normal human, or it can even kill him, actually. But see, the soul can't be touched by anything in this world, and its qualities and its abilities go even beyond that. But that's not to say that the body, the physical body, this physical body not being the soul, this physical body can't function the same way the soul does. Unless Krishna chooses to give us that ability. And that's what's being manifested in all of these different incarnations that we are taking, even in animal species. These abilities that animals have to breathe underwater, to fly, to dig holes and live under the ground. So many abilities they are manifesting, they are all just part and parcel of what abilities the soul has in its original place with the Supreme Person. All of these abilities are coming, like I was speaking earlier, also changing color. It's a natural, inborn. When Karna was born from, I believe he was born from Surya. He was born with a chest plate of steel, like steel, of iron, so powerful. Dronacharya requested him to cut it off. Otherwise, nobody would have been able to defeat him on the battlefield. But he was the rightful heir. He was the firstborn of the Pandavas, making him the rightful heir to the throne, the eldest brother, elder to Yudhishthira, even. But they didn't know that. They didn't know that because Mother Kunti kept that as a secret from them. And for that cause was a curse put on womanhood. You can no longer keep secrets. I don't know if it affects more than those who are serving Krishna, or if it affects even those who are serving Krishna. But the scriptures say that they are not able to keep secrets anymore. And there was another curse that went along with them. I forget what it was. Do you know what that was? When a woman was cursed because Mother Kunti kept the secret of Karna being her son for so long. She knew it. And because of that, I forget who it was. There was a sage that cursed her to not be able to remember.
It was not Queen Kunti, I guess. It was not Queen Kunti.
It wasn't Queen Kunti.
No, it is different.
It was Pandava's mother.
Pandava's mother is Kunti, but...
she's the one that kept the secret.
I don't know that story then.
Yeah, it's from Mahabharata.
I know a different story.
I'm pretty sure it's right. I have to go look that up again. At one point she did know, but you could be correct. There may have been someone else that knew. I believe it was a woman. But there was a curse made that women, they can't keep secrets. But I said they can't remember. Can't keep secrets. It's very powerful that anyone would have the ability to create a curse that would affect every single person born into that gender after that. That's pretty powerful. See, that cuts right into karma. It's an ability keeping secrets. A normal function of a human being is for some, see, we don't give the glories of the Lord to faithless, atheistic demons. The Bible puts it this way, do not cast your pearls before swine, otherwise they will trample over your pearls. So that's what they do when you speak scriptures to unbelieving people, because in their minds they have no means of being able to accept faith or things beyond what they have experienced in this world to this short period of time they've lived here. So their mind doesn't contain the ability to accept certain things that have been purposely blocked because of offenses they have previously committed in other incarnations. Just as Krishna has incarnations, we have incarnations. And Krishna takes...
Yudhishthira Maharaj cursed Queen Kunti.
Say that again?
Yudhishthira Maharaj cursed Queen Kunti for hiding his secret. So then onwards, stating that she and all women shall never be able to keep any secrets.
Right. Who was that?
Yudhishthira.
Yudhishthira. He cursed? See how powerful Yudhishthira is.
Yeah, because at the...
It was Queen Kunti then.
Because at the end of,
His wife.
While at the last stage of Karna, while she reveals everything to everyone, then he, out of very grief, he curses her. No woman can keep secrets from...
It's his mother. His mother, actually, yeah.
But he's religion person.
See, when you analyze it, Karna, being the rightful heir, she's the one that sent him up the river.
Yes.
And was that because of shame? She didn't want to be found out. See, that's where the sin comes. And then Karna got raised by Sudras. Yeah. But his qualities never changed.
No.
He was Dhira. Karna, to his left. Went to Kurukshetra. And there at Kurukshetra, there is a murti form of Karna. And next to him, there's a beggar asking Karna for alms. And Karna, he's at his last breathing, last breath. He has nothing to give him, but his teeth are gold. So he punches his own tooth out of his mouth and gives it to the beggar. This is the nature of Karna. I used to have such affection for Karna. Yeah, but see, there's a reason of his previous incarnation that all these things came into place like they did as well. So it wasn't pure devotion that he had towards Krishna, the position he took with the Kauravas. But they treated him better than the Pandavas did. And the Pandavas kind of looked at him. They didn't want him to enter the arena to gain knowledge of the astra weapons. They were considering him unfit. And so they were making this against their own brother. They didn't realize it. Statements of definition. Don't you see it how that affects the whole future, in that case of the world? He was the rightful emperor. And all this misgiving the Kauravas had about their rightful positions and taking over the Pandavas' positions, then this is all affecting the population of the earth because of the position and responsibility they had at that time. So we've been in a state of chaos ever since. There is no emperor, and there has not been one qualified. There has not been a soul qualified to be in that position of emperor since. And those that try to put themselves in those positions with the hope of gaining some control and power and some kingdom in this, all disqualification for being in the position. And that's also brought out by the point being made there. If you do this for the sake of acquiring a kingdom in this world, gaining great academic fame and all these things, total disqualification. Any comments, any questions, any realizations? Jai. Grantaraj Shrimadbhagavatam. Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai.